Pisces, hello. Amanda here. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your February shift reading. So we are looking at the shape you are shifting out of in February, the shape you shift into, and what that shape shift, that change, looks and feels like for you. So before we get into cards, Pisces, your meditation has taken me on an interesting rabbit hole. So as I was calling in your energy and just focusing on what image needs to come through for you, I saw a line. It was kind of lit up like neon. It was a line. And it began to explore the shapes that it could make. It would like explore a little bit and then go back to being a line. Explore a little bit and go back to being a line. There was this sort of shift in shape, shift in vibration, and then back to being a line. And then I heard The Dot and the Line, which is actually a book. Now, for those of you who follow my channel, you know that aside from the big shift readings, I do small story readings where I choose a book off the shelf, turn to a passage at random, share that with you, and pull cards about it. So your February shift reading here is sort of a combo of the two styles of readings that I do on this channel. Because your meditation, this image of the line, brought me to this book, The Dot and the Line, by Norton Juster. Oh, it's such a sweet, beautiful, beautiful book. I'm going to read you the back here as a quick summary. See the wanton dot throwing her life away on a disreputable squiggle. See the helpless line tortured by his own insidious fantasies. See the epic confrontation of lovers. See it all in this thrilling romance for readers of all ages. Okay, and so I'll just give you a quick summary here of what I think is important. Here we have the line, okay, meet the line, our main player here, Pisces. Second player is Dot. Line over here is absolutely in love with the Dot. Line idolizes the Dot, sees the Dot as perfect, okay, puts the Dot up on this very idealistic pedestal, Pisces. Here's looking at you, friend, okay? That's that Neptunian energy. Now, the thing is, the Dot is mad about the squiggle because the squiggle is unpredictable. The squiggle moves and does all sorts of things, whereas she sees the line as being a bit of a stiff. The line is very distraught about this, and so naturally begins to try to shift its shape to be more like the squiggle. But the more it tries, the more it realizes it can't do it. And then one day it begins to find that it can't necessarily squiggle, but it can bend at precise angles. And so it's intrigued by this new ability to be able to do that. And it starts to form itself into wild shapes. And I'm going to read you this passage because I think it's important. Hot stuff, he shouted, much impressed with his efforts. Then, in a wild burst of enthusiasm, he sat up for half the night, putting on an outrageous display of sides, bends, and angles. Freedom is not a license for chaos, he observed the next morning. There and then, he decided not to squander his talents in cheap exhibitionism. Okay, Pisces, thing one, freedom is not a license for chaos. So then he realizes that if he focuses his talent for creating angles, he could actually do something much more profound. And so he starts exploring these mathematical shapes and really develops his skills into something absolutely fantastic and like really, truly profound. And so then he realizes with his newfound abilities, yeah, they're amazing on his own, but he misses the Dot. So he goes back to the Dot and he's like, baby, I'm gonna take you on a date. And he takes her and just shows her the absolute world that he can create now with his newfound sense of self through like the precise focus of his talents. And here's Dot. Suddenly she realized that what she had thought was freedom and joy with the squiggle was nothing but anarchy and sloth. Okay, and then the Dot and the line come together and live happily ever after or whatever. Okay, so there's this. And then, oh yeah, final thing I wanted to share with you, the moral. He puts a moral at the end here, Cupid's arrows. Here's Cupid, and it says, moral, to the vector belong the spoils. To the vector belong the spoils. And I see that as to the one who can focus, because a vector is a direction. A very specific direction of like force applied, for example, or intention applied in a very specific direction. To the vector, the angle, the direction belong the spoils. Like this idea of the squiggle who is very charming in his sort of like anarchist, whatever. But the problem with that is, like freedom and freedom does not necessarily equal chaos. And that's what the line discovers through his own exploration of himself and his talents. Yeah, he could just go full anarchy like the squiggle and just go into chaos because he suddenly developed all this freedom that he inherently possesses. Yeah, he could do that. Or he could focus his talents into something much more specific and therefore perhaps much more profound. So there's like two things happening. There's like an idolizing happening, maybe some like rose-colored glasses happening about how someone else is absolutely perfect the way they are and you could never meet up to their expectations. You're either thinking that about someone else or they may be thinking that about you. Okay, pick your position here. And then there's a second thing happening of like you trying to change your shape to be this like totally free-flowing thing and realizing that like freedom is something to seek, but like freedom in chaos is anarchy. Freedom with direction is like much more specific and a much more specific expression of your freedom. And also I think it's interesting how like the line realized that through his own exploration of what his actual innate talents are and what he's actually interested in, he discovered something so profound about himself rather than just trying to emulate what he thought Dot wanted in a squiggle. Is this making sense, Pisces? Let's get to your cards and see what this is all about. Okay. To the vector belongs the spoils. All right, what is the shape that Pisces is shifting out of here in February? We're using the slow holler deck, by the way, for those of you who are interested. Woohoo! Shape you're shifting out of, my friend. This is in reverse, by the way, but I'll show you upright. The Visionary of Stones, or the Queen of Pentacles. So we see someone creating a firm foundation in themselves. Each of these shoes is essentially like a little hobbit house. Standing in their own garden and on their own houses, separate houses that they've built. The Queen of Pentacles speaks to me about the way you care for yourself and others. It speaks to me about nurturance. And in reverse, it sort of speaks to me that like the ground beneath your feet, the foundation for your own sense of self and your own nurturance is perhaps a bit ungrounded. Which is why there's this sense with the line of feeling like, if I was just more like a squiggle, if I was just more like this, somebody would love me. And it's like, hold on, let's build a firmer sense of groundedness in yourself so that you're not trying to be anybody else, but rather you've got the foundation to discover the heights that you can grow to as you with your innate talents and interests and abilities. Okay, that's something here. There's also something here with the Queen of Pentacles reversed about like prioritizing others' opinions and interests over your own, or like projecting your identity into others, into what others think of you. Okay, interesting. That's the shape you're shifting out of. Let's get some more info. What is the shape that Pisces is shifting into here in February? Okay, interesting. Six of Cups. It did come out reverse. I'm not sure if I should take that. I think so, actually. To me, this particular, the Six of Cups tends to talk about the past. Sixes are always trying to find harmony and balance. 3 and 3, balancing the scales. They're trying to find harmony. And Six of Cups is trying to find emotional harmony. And there's always this presence of the past with this particular card. And here we see that represented as a collection of bones that are on a shelf that are like vestiges of the past in some way. I'm seeing my battery signal lighting up at me. So if we cut off real quick, don't worry, I'll be right back. Okay. Vestiges of the past, just like sitting on a shelf collecting dust. I'm also kind of seeing them as like up high on a shelf, being a bit idolized. And the thread here, this red thread, speaks to me of the red string of fate that sort of like ties you to energy of the past, or ties you to people from the past, a lover from the past, perhaps. There seems to be an emotional attachment to the past here that's coming through. And in reverse, I think the guidance here is to clear the shelf. Because again, with the dot and the line, it's like, if the line continues to identify emotionally with this perhaps outdated way of thinking within himself, which is, I'm never going to be what Dot wants me to be, or I have to be the squiggle in order to be attractive. I am inherently not attractive the way I am, like things like that. That's old ways of thinking that are sort of cluttering the shelf of the mind, and therefore the heart. And I just want to tell you to like clear this out and see who you are without all of this. Similar actually message to what came through for Aquarius. So if you have some overlap in your chart, go check out that Aquarius reading. Okay, let's get more info. Let's see what this shape shift looks like for you. From the Queen of Pentacles reversed to the Six of Cups reversed. What does this shape shift look and feel like for Pisces in February? Too many cards. Oh, okay. Yes. All right, Pisces, let's take a look. Wow. Just give me a second to feel into this. Okay. Here's what we're looking at. Laugh with me, okay? First of all, Architect of Vessels, which is King of Cups, Strength, and my friend, the Navigator or the Emperor, and look at the mathematics. Okay, so we've got some synchronistic messaging showing up already in these images. What I'm seeing in this, your experience of this shift, Pisces, I think you're realizing here that without solid ground to stand on inside of yourself, like a firm sense of self, a firm sense of identity, separate from another. There is a certain amount of emotional withholding that happens as a result of that. And I'm getting like fears of like, well, I don't want to say this because she might think that's silly. Or, you know, if I express this part of me, I'm not sure if she's going to like that, so I'm not going to say anything. There's all of this energy about completely wanting to morph your identity into some idea of what you think somebody else wants you to be. And so it's like the emotional withholding is actually sort of this showing me today that as this form of subtle manipulation, actually, because you're trying to manipulate how you are perceived by another, or control. You're trying to control the way that others perceive you. And so that results in emotional withholding somehow, like keeping your emotions bottled and only letting a little bit out at a time, and only like what you think you should let out in terms of the image you're trying to keep up with. And again, that's because you're not firmly grounded in this sense of this is just who I am. You know, when you feel a really strong sense of this is who I am, you are more apt to express yourself emotionally and take the opinion of like, if others don't like it, that's on them. That's not a reflection of me. That's them. That's their stuff, because I need to be who I am. Okay, so there's this need to like go down into the depths of yourself here, Pisces, down into the cave of your own psyche, to really, and like set up camp there, build yourself a fire and sit there and wait for the parts of yourself that lie dormant in the cave, in the darkness of the cave, to begin to reveal themselves. And they will be drawn to the heat and the light that you bring down to shine into those dark places, those dormant spaces, those spaces where a part of you has been gestating. Go down in there and you sit in there and you wait, and you open your energy and you invite and you say, I'm here to meet you. I'm here to meet pieces of myself that I have not been ready to meet until now. Okay, that's what I'm feeling here with this Strength card. Because the Strength card often traditionally shows someone gently prying open the mouth of the beast, the mouth of the lion, in order to harness its energy, in order to understand, you know, the meeting of supposedly opposite energies, this like gentle, loving, open-hearted compassion with the ferocity of the beast. It's like, that's where you're meeting yourself. And that is the way in which you need to meet yourself here, with some major, gentle, open-hearted compassioness. Like, it's almost like when like sitting in meditation and I'm opening myself to receive whatever is coming through for you. If I push for an image, it's a no-go. You know, it's like, that's me again, like pushing for an identity or trying to project what I think needs to happen onto your reading. And that's just not right. It's like, it happens organically if I sit back and just open myself to receive. Then the right thing comes in every time. And it requires a lot of faith and a lot of trust. And I think that's what's happening here, Pisces. You have to trust that the part of your identity that's ready and personality that's ready to emerge now will come if you open space for it. And then bam, look at this. Oof, the Navigator. You stepping up into a powerful role as the Emperor. You like discovering the flame of your soul. Okay, Emperor is Aries energy, Strength is Leo energy. This is you're coming into some major fire here. And Leo energy with the Strength card talks about a sense of identity and self-expression, freedom in self-expression. Okay, freedom to express your fire, your soul, your personality. And so that's what we see with the Emperor here. Here you are with this, whatever you discover down in the cave, it's like then you can come back up as the captain of your ship, standing right at the helm. I don't know if that's the right thing, standing right at the front of the ship. And you're using the new skills that you have found inside of yourself to navigate your way forward. This is an energy of someone who is decisive, confident, makes choices, takes action, not afraid. All right, I'm stepping forward as the captain of my ship and I'm steering my life now. Okay, and I think when you do that, that is how you shed these vestiges of the past. You know, I'm almost seeing this as your baby teeth. Pisces, it's like you're hanging on to this old version of yourself here that like you lost those baby teeth a long time ago. Clear the shelves for this new sense of self to come in and be expressed, especially emotionally, in like deep, heartfelt, intimate relationships. And I think you're going to find Six of Cups can also talk about this like profound sense of joy in relationship with another, like an innocence and a joy emotionally between two people. And I think that that's where you will find that emotional balance that you're seeking. But first, you've got to come into a stronger sense of your identity, because right now you can't really freely express your emotions if you're trying to become a version of yourself that you think best serves others. No. Become the version of yourself that is actually lying inside of you waiting to come out. The version of yourself that best serves you and your life path. I just saw 2222. Yeah. All right, Pisces, we're going to get you a postcard from the Liminal Space deck here to end your reading. And then we're going to take this over into the second half of this reading, into an extended reading, which can be found on Patreon. Patreon is a community that I have created for people that have been following my work for some time. If that's you and you know this work is resonating with you and you would like to view the extended readings for your monthly shifts every month, Patreon might be for you. Click the link in the description box and that will take you over there. Please read the full description on that Patreon page when you get there so you know how it works. You can reach out to me if you have any questions, and there will be a preview at the end of this reading that gives you an inkling into what we get into in the extended reading. We're going to essentially use other decks to clarify this and try to get some more specifics. Okay. All right, Pisces, let's get you a closing card here. Closing advice for Pisces here in February. Okay, what have we got? Oh my. Yes. Pisces, your sweet, sensitive soul, your heart, protect your ecosystem. Protect your ecosystem here. I think that, you know, this is what we're looking at in this shift is a really vulnerable moment for you. This is a moment of like real self-identification, and that kind of energy is like really raw. You know, you're shedding an old skin of the past and beginning to emerge as something new that you don't even really know yet. It's a sensitive time. And so I think in terms of relationships and like emotional intimacy, protecting your ecosystem, protecting your heart is important, just in the sense of like you're like just whoever I'm talking to here in this reading, it won't be for everyone obviously, but if this is resonating, you're forming this like really nascent new part of your identity. And so maybe being in intimate relationships with others right now, especially if you have a tendency to project your identity into people you are intimate with, you know, and like take on their identities in this way, or idolize their identities as something you should try to live into or serve with your own identity. It's like, bring your energy in, grow your own garden in your heart before coming back out into relationship and harmonious emotional intimacy with another. Okay, I think that's what's coming through here, Pisces. All right, Pisces, my friend, maybe I'll see you over the extended on Patreon, but regardless, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this reading, do click that like button and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know how things are resonating. Okay, Pisces, happy February. Take care. Ace of Cups. Yeah. Yes. Oh, once you clear these shelves, okay? Once you clear these shelves, look, there's room for something new to come in. Aces talk about renewal, new heart energy, new emotional energy. Right now, you can't fit one more cup on this shelf. You can't fit one more vessel on this shelf because every single pocket is full. Every single container, every single bit is full to the brim. You can't fit anything new in there. You wipe that shelf out and bam, you know, you begin to clear things, and it's like you're making room for this new. I love that it's fire, Queen of Wands. This fire here mixed with cups, which is emotions. It's sort of like these two things coming together create this like renewal of your emotional heart energy. And it could mean renewal in a relationship. I'm definitely feeling an intimate relationship here.